You know, I told myself that I was going to do the full review for the Makita Subcompact Impact Driver, but you know what? We're going straight for the Tool Duel. I was excited about this. Today we're putting the Makita Subcompact Impact Driver up against the all-new Ridgid Subcompact Impact Driver. Today we're going to use and abuse. We're going to talk about all the specs, the things that I do like, some of the things that I don't like. We're just really going to compare these two. We're going to race them. We're going to see which one has a little bit more power than the other. And of course, we got our treated 6x6 right here to conduct the test. Now you ask yourself, is it moist?
So moist.
So I'm definitely excited to see how those drivers hold up going through this treated 6x6. Now what are we putting through the treated 6x6? Well, we got some new headlocks. They be 6 inches long, and then we got some lag screws. They are also 6 inches long, and we're just going to plow these down through that treated 6x6. And to do that, we're bringing out the rivals. I know the tension is uncomfortable for a lot of people. I mean, look what happened right before the test started.
Well, Gene, it looks like the TRZ boys are back at it again.
You're right, Mike, but look at those moves. Unbelievable.
Yeah, but look at TRZ just holding his coffee all calm.
Absolutely. TRZ breaking it.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
TRZ throwing hot coffee in the face of TRZ. Let's rewind that and see that in slow motion. That is really gotta hurt.
Is that sizzling I hear?
That and a lot of pain.
Oh, either or, they're both tremendous athletes.
And tremendous athletes they are. Let's take a look at the Makita first. Now, this has been out for a little while. Acme Tool sent this over for us to take a look at, not Makita. Right now, they're on sale on the site for $109. That's the model number right there. I'll put a link for both tools in the description below. 1,240 inch-pounds, which I think is going to play a role here a little bit later. Just under 3 pounds for this impact driver. Max RPM, you're looking at 3,000 under no load. We're using the 18-volt 2.0 battery on this. But what's really cool about this subcompact is it gives you a couple different features here. You got the high and low settings, so basically soft and hard, and an auto setting. Definitely gives you a lot more control. You can adjust the speeds. You can adjust those IPMs or the impacts per minute anywhere between 1,600 and 3,900. Again, super simple to use. The buttons are easy to get to, and you do have a couple different features where the Ridgid, we'll talk about that here in a bit. As for the feel, well, it feels really good. Has an awesome grip to it. I love the way the Makita puts that rubber overmold on. It just feels real nice like. You have the LED light right up on front. It's pretty bright. As soon as you pull the trigger, it turns on. Is it brushless? Of course it is. And you got the 3-year warranty on this little beast right here. The one issue that I do have with this impact is, well, it does not have the quick insert. Call it, you got to pull the dang thing out every time you want to stick it in. Other than that, I'm liking it. But what about power-wise? Well, before we get to that, let's take a look at the all-new Ridgid Subcompact. Brand new to the market, released literally a month ago. We were the first to bring this on the YouTube, by the way. You got your bit holder right here, screws on the side. You got your belt clip, screws on the other side, which Makita has also. You do have that quick release collet right there, but pretty much a plain Jane, if you ask me. Really not much going on with this impact driver. However, it is extremely small. Probably the smallest on the market today. The battery a little bit bigger than the Makita's, but everything else is just smaller. And even though the Makita is small itself, man, if you were trying to get into tight spots, if you're a mechanic or just trying to get in those tight areas, this thing will shine. Now, the only thing you have on this really is a variable speed trigger. You do got the LED light, and that's it. There's no modes on this. It's not a Ridgid octane. I'm just throwing that out there. You can use any battery. You can use an octane battery if you want. But really where this thing shines is the size and the power. We're going to show you that here in a second. But check out the overmold. Not as comfortable as the Makita's, but still not bad. And I truly believe this thing will hold up in a professional environment. I've been beating it up. Now, we've got some of those screws here, real long like. TRZ is going up against TRZ. TRZ will be using the Makita. TRZ will be using the Ridgid. Will TRZ win or will TRZ win? Let's go ahead and put our special bit in, and oh yeah, I forgot. Oh, bummer. Okay, let's pull this thing out here, and all right, we're gonna start. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, we're going one-handed on these impact drivers. Really no force being pushed down, and you can see the Ridgid right away takes it in the speed. TRZ a little confused, thought the Makita was gonna take it. We switch up the sides. Yes, the Makita is in the fast mode or the hard mode. Ridgid taking it on the speed. Now let's pull these things out and see what happens here. And Ridgid got it on the speed again. So really impressive. Now I put it on the auto mode on the Makita, and I thought maybe that might play a difference, but it didn't. It starts out a lot smoother, but nothing I can do with these 6 inches can beat that Ridgid. Putting pressure down on that screw, and the Ridgid still taking it, driving and taking it out. So Ridgid just faster, quicker when it comes to those screws, and there's no pilot holes drilled on either one. Now I will also tell you, even with the full 18 volt larger drills, sometimes these treated 6x6s with these longer screws give us issues. These both drove those down nice, but let's try the 1/2 inch, 6 inch long lag screw. Now you can see the tape on here. The Ridgid is clearly going faster, but what I noticed is the Ridgid starts out really quick, but then it starts to bog down a little bit, where even though Makita is a little bit slower, I still think that the torque is a little bit higher on this, so that definitely plays a role. But you can see they're pretty much neck and neck. Makita is on the hard mode, and the Ridgid, all that has is the variable speed trigger. Now the Makita, it's still going slowly but surely. The Ridgid definitely slowing down even more. Impacts definitely harder on the Ridgid, and the Ridgid is louder than the Makita. But the Ridgid is pretty much done. Getting a little bit hot up on top, but the Makita is still going slowly but surely. So I can drag that all the way down through that treated 6x6 with the Makita, and I'm done with the Ridgid. It's getting pretty boring. All right, let's try it again, but we're going to bring them up here. The Ridgid, slowly but surely. The Makita just has a little bit more torque, and it's bringing it up quicker. Now, I will tell you that I am impressed with both of these. I am very impressed, because I didn't think that these would drag those down as far as they did. But the Ridgid is still struggling to bring it up. The Makita, definitely a little bit more powerful. All right, let's switch up the size, and you can see that Ridgid is just coming out of the gate, man. It's angry. But then it starts to slow it down. Makita, definitely slower. You can definitely tell it's slower. But a little bit more powerful, where it's going to continue to go for you. All right, pretty much the same thing. The Ridgid just blasted, man. When it comes out of that gate, it is quick. We're putting a little bit of pressure down on these now. I'm definitely impressed by that Ridgid. Now, I'm going to throw this out there as well. There's a little bit of a delay when you pull the trigger on the Ridgid. It's only a fraction of a second, but you can definitely notice it. Where the Makita, as soon as you pull the trigger, it's going. That Ridgid does have a slight delay. Yep, and that Ridgid is done. The Makita still going. I could probably drag that down all the way if I wanted to. It'll take a while. Let's pull them out again here, and either one of them's going. I think they're both overheated, so I'm curious of what the heat is. We're going to check that, but you can see that the bolts, the Makita drove it down a little bit more than the Ridgid, but both very impressive. I am really impressed with both of them. I really did not think that they would do that. Now, the Ridgid temp, you're looking at 120 degrees. That thing is pretty hot. You put your hand on the front of that, it's going to get burnt. The Makita, the temp on that was 106, so definitely a lot cooler than the Ridgid. The Ridgid was definitely overheated a little bit, if you ask me. Now, if you ask me who I think won, I got to be honest with you, I really don't know. I love how small that Ridgid is, and I've been going with that and using that more than every other impact, simply because it does have the power. There's a little bit of a delay. It bugs me, it irks me, but it's just so easy to use. You do got that variable speed trigger, where the Makita, you have the different settings, and you could probably use those if you needed them. I really don't know. I think I'm impressed with both of them, and I'll be honest with you, I think that either one would suit you well. And another issue that I'm having with the Ridgid is because you can buy the Makita at $109 right now, If you wanted to buy the Impact for Ridgid, you have to buy it in a kit at $199. And yeah, you get the battery, you get the drill and all that, but it would be nice to be able to buy those separately, which I'm sure you will be able to in the future. But I really like them both, but I'm curious, who do you think won? What do you like better and why? Did the Ridgid take it? Did the Makita take it? Don't just look at speed. Look at, overall build, look at the torque, look at the settings, look at the simplicity, and look at the price. It really boils down to what you want. I think they're both pretty cool. So I'm giving them both thumbs up. I'm calling it a tie. Now, if you like this video in any kind of way, please smash that like button. Get subscribed and hit that bell notification so you don't miss out on any tools coming soon to the channel. As always, I appreciate you stopping by. We'll be back with more videos soon.